Hello. It has been a while. What's new with me? I bought a dishwasher. I got a haircut. And I also used my runes for divination for the first time ever. So, for the sake of this video, welcome to Runology 101. You can call me Miss Allison because I'll be your teacher today. Today we are going to talk about activating runes and also casting the runes. But first, a short backstory as to why this last full moon was the first time I have casted my runes ever. So for some reason I felt like to use runes you had to find some witch who lived in a cabin out in the middle of the woods somewhere to teach you them and bestow their magical divination powers upon you. I don't know. I was way too hard on myself when it came to actually using the runes for divination, just feeling not worthy, remembering how much Odin had sacrificed to gain the knowledge of the runes, and just feeling like I really wasn't sacrificing enough myself or really even deserved to use them. But I just had to get over that. I had multiple people just saying, just do it, you know, you just have to go for it. And so I did, and it was amazing, and the runes are spot on. So I know that I activated them right and that I'm using them right. So let's start with activating the runes. So you'll need your runes, obviously. For runes, you can make or buy them. For me, I made my runes. I used wood from an oak tree that had fallen. My fiance and I split it up into firewood, and then I took a sliver of it and cut them into about, if I can get it to focus, about 1/2-inch pieces. And then I stained or sanded and then stained them. And then I used a pencil to mark out the rune. And then I used a soldering iron to burn the runes into the wood. So before you activate your runes, you should put a lot of time and dedication into learning them, memorizing their names and their correct pronunciations. You should put some time into researching the history and backstory of the runes, how Odin came to learn the knowledge of the runes, and also what each rune means. Spend some time with them, figure out what they mean to you personally. And then once you feel ready, and don't go too hard on yourself like I did, but once you feel ready enough, then you can activate your runes and use them for divination. So I'm just gonna lay the runes out in order and say their names. Fehu, Thurisas, Thurisas. Anzus, Anzus. Rhino, Canas, Canas, Gable, Gable, Wunyu, Wunyu, Hagalas, Hagalas, now these, Isa, Isa, Yera, Yera, Iwas, Iwas, Pedro, Pedro, Elhaz, Elhaz, Sowilo, Sowilo, Tiwaz, Tiwaz, Berkana, Berkana, Awas, Awas, Manas, Manas, Lagus, Ingwas, Ingwas, Dagas, Dagas, Othila, Othila, Othila. So those are the 24 runes in the Elder Futhark runic alphabet. So the whole idea of using blood magic to activate your runes comes from it being a sacrifice, similar to how Odin sacrificed himself to himself by hanging from Yggdrasil, pierced by his spear for 9 days and 9 nights. You can kind of see where I activated this rune. You can either use your finger that's been pierced by the lancer and just tap it on the rune, or you can do what I did, which is take a paintbrush and trace the rune. So to start my rune activation ritual off, I made a Mugwort Tea. If you don't know what Mugwort is, this is Mugwort. So Mugwort is a plant that grows right outside my house in the woods. It's actually very common and it grows in most places. And a lot of practitioners use Mugwort for dreaming and dream recall, but you can also use it in divination practices. So that is what I do. I make a nice tea from the mugwort, and then I came back to my altar, lit some candles, and prepared my cleansing smoke that I was going to use to cleanse my runes one by one. So I used my mortar and pestle right here, and I put in the mugwort, and I also put in some rosemary, mugwort for its divination powers and rosemary for its positive cleansing purposes. I use rosemary to cleanse a lot, not so much sage. But here is the rosemary and mugwort, and I basically put a small charcoal tablet on a bed of sand and burn the herbs that way. So I actually have it left over from the ritual, and that is what it looks like, all burnt, but this is the bowl that I put it in. And basically, as it's burning, smoke is coming up, and I took my rune and I would wave it over the smoke, get all the sides, and then I would chant the rune's name. So say this is the rune that I was using, I would chant Manas, Manas. And as I was chanting and calling the rune, I would then use my paintbrush to trace the rune with blood, thinking about what the rune means, what the rune signifies, and the rune's divination powers. And that is how I activated each rune one by one. Now that we've talked about how to activate the runes, we can move on to how to actually cast them and use them for divination purposes. There are a few ways that you can use them for divination. I'm going to cover 3 of those ways. And a little side note, a lot of people swear by taking one rune with them, carrying it on their person all day long to get a feel for what that rune means to them and get a type of bond with that rune. And that is how they learn that rune. So that can be another way that you decide to learn and study your rune, by carrying one with you each day for 24 days. Alright, so the first way to use your runes for divination is to just pull one. Shake them up. And then you can reach into the bag, asking your runes your question. Reaching into your bag, and pulling out 1. So, Hagalaz, hail. Depending on your question, that might not be too much of a good sign. So yes, that is the first way to use your runes for divination. The next way is a 3-rune pull for past, present, and future. So again, you would shake up your runes. So we pull Soilo, Yara, and a reversed Anzus. So you can decide whether you read your runes reversed or not. If you're deciding you're not going to read them reversed, that's fine. Personally, I choose to acknowledge their reversed positions. For example, this Anzus rune, while its right side up has ties to the god Odin, its reversed sign has ties to the god Loki. So the upright and reversed positions definitely mean different things. But it's all up to you if you choose to acknowledge the reverse positions or not. The last way to use that I'm going to cover is a 9-rune pull. So in this way you can pull 3 for past, 3 for present, and 3 for the future. So that would be a past, present, and future reading. And that is far more advanced than my capabilities right now, if I'm being honest, and a lot less beginner friendly. Some people even just dump their runes out and see what stands out to them. So that could also be a rune reading right there. It's really dependent on the person. Or if you have one rune, if you've dumped all of them out and one rune is still stuck in the bag, that could be a reading as well. A reversed one. So it's really all up to the practitioner. So that is my video on how to activate and cast your runes for divination. I hope it was helpful. I'm sorry it took so long to get another video out here. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Skål!